Well, this is an extraordinary story, and I was reading about this. This is up in Cheshire, and she's selling kind of luxury goods, isn't she? And she is literally having to be a superhero herself. She's fighting the villains because it seems like nobody else will.
And
do
there's
it for
horrible
her.
pictures of thugs going in with balaclavas. That must be
terrible.
traumatic.
This is terrible gangster stuff. But Mark, when I was reading this, I was thinking about the rest of the country, and I was thinking about the fact that, I don't know about you, but I spend quite a lot of time in London and Manchester and Leeds and places like those, and I've seen people just going into supermarkets, going into shops, filling bags with stolen gear and marching out, and people not doing anything about it. Mainly because they don't want to get stabbed, but also because they know the police, the judiciary, they won't prosecute these people. So these low-level, I'm not saying this is low-level crime, it isn't, it's very, very scary.
Well, the police treat it like low-level, don't they?
Yeah, exactly. But shoplifting, all of that kind of stuff, it is just indicative of a society that's coming apart at the seams. It's just our sense of civil behaviour, our sense of safety actually is coming under threat all the time, and it feels as though the police don't want to know anything about it, the politicians don't want to know anything about it. If you say something like, oh my god, it's really dangerous in London, and I've seen lots and lots of this stuff, people will just say, I don't believe you. Well, London's a great place. Yeah, London is a great place, but it's also one of the most dangerous places on earth as well, and there are very specific reasons for that.
Once every 11 years, I'm going to defend this Labour government. Once every 11 years. So this is the moment.
Oh, this is the moment.
Strap yourself in.
Oh, you're choosing now. Thank you.
Well, the breakdown in our society, you know, the civil disobedience, the disorder, the disrespect, the low work ethic, you know, worklessness, the gangs, the shoplifting, you know, this did not ferment in the last 13, 14 months, did it? I don't think that they have answers, Labour. I don't think they had a plan for office. But how long would you say this has been going on for, this gradual degradation of the British way of life, do you think?
Oh, well, I think it's been going on for decades and decades. You can trace it right back to the post-war years. But I think in real terms, in terms of what we're talking about, I'd say from about 2015, I began to notice a real change on lots and lots of levels. I noticed a kind of authoritarian streak, the identity politics, and you can map it back. So it starts with, you know, everybody being obsessed with activism. So it starts with, I think it starts with Me Too and everybody going crazy about all of that kind of stuff. Then it's BLM. Then we all get locked down, okay? And then lots of men go completely berserk because they're stuck at home with PORN. Even I'm doing it now. And think
your spelling's nearly as good as mine.
And think that they're women, okay? Then it's the environment, and then it's it's Hamas, for God's sake. Okay, so all of that stuff, people become a little bit crazy. Throw mass immigration into the mix, throw a kind of a ridiculous ideology in schools that you're going to talk about later into the mix, and you have everything beginning to crumble. And there's one word that sums it all up for me. It's the word stupid. We've become stupid as a society. Because we've thrown away all of the good stuff, actually all of the boring stuff, like, you know, neighbourhoods, family, work ethic, all of that stuff, which is really important. And we're obsessing about left-wing ideology. We're obsessing about having the borders open. You know, some of us are, these people are. And all of this stuff is just detrimental to our way of life, and it's dangerous. And the people it's most dangerous to are women and children.
And people have got too much time on their hands. It's a sort of sign of a country that's had it too good for too long, perhaps.
I think it is, but I think it's also part of this ethos. It isn't just an ideology, it's a whole way of seeing things. And I think you're absolutely right, Mark, to say, well, it isn't just the Labour Party, it isn't just 14 months, it's been going on forever and ever and ever. But if there's one person that really sums up that kind of ethos, who represents it, who's the cheerleader for it, or he was up until Reform started being really popular in the polls, it's Keir Starmer. You know, throw Keir Starmer into the mix and Jeremy Corbyn, and there you have, I think, two of the really main issues why things are going to the dark.
Things are going south, and you know, obviously when people stop fighting back like this woman and then the thugs win, then you've got a problem, and it looks like they, in a sense, they already have won. I don't know if the genie's out of the lamp now.
Well, it's difficult to say. I mean, I don't want to feel as though, you know, it's all over and we just have to pack up and go home and there's no point us having these conversations and there's no point people going to work and all of that kind of thing. I don't think that's the case. I think there's always something to pull back. And you mentioned Donald Trump before. I think that's a really good example of people fighting back. They voted him back into the White House because they wanted change and because they saw someone who could make that change. We have polls today that show Reform 15 points ahead of the Labour Party. Now, the Labour Party have only been in for just over a year.
And Reform is a brand new party.
Reform is a brand new party. I remember, you know, just about 18 months ago, maybe just a bit longer, at the New Culture Forum, we used to have Richard Tice and William Clouston of the SDP, both on an even footing, because those two parties at that time were at the same stage in a level of the game.
Yeah.
Now, Reform are 15 points ahead of the government in the opinion polls, and that is just utterly remarkable for two reasons. Very quickly. One, because they are saying what the British public wants to hear, especially around immigration, especially around identity politics and all of that kind of stuff, and law and order in particular. But two, the government are just catastrophic. There is no other word for them. Well, I used the word stupid before. That is a good word